you recognize that plant?
No, I didn't plant that.
Are you sure? What about the first flower you planted in the greenhouse?
You mean Joy? What is that Joy?
I didn't know you named your plants.
Well, just that first one. You know, I just wanted to make sure that Joy would always be part of our lives.
By the time the credits rolled on It Takes Two, I almost felt lost for words. For 10 hours or so, I'd been on one of the greatest adventures of all time, witnessing some staggering ideas that don't just push the boundaries of creativity, but send them into another dimension entirely. I'd run away from giant moles, ridden spiders from tree to tree, fought snake-like microphones, gone ice skating inside a snow globe, and flown through the air on mechanical birds. Being able to experience all of the wonder with a friend is both an honour and a privilege, and doing so in an expertly crafted platformer is the most fun I've had in ages. A Way Out wasn't a bad game by any means, but the shift in quality between that and It Takes Two is incredible. The environments are stunning, but also built in such a superb way that you feel completely immersed. Whether you're trying to make your way through the level itself, interacting with random objects, or playing one of the mini games, there's so much cool stuff to do. You can play a full game of chess or bop it, ride a sled on a half-pipe, climb a hell tower, or race snails with your mate. Joseph Fares is a keen advocate in interactivity over collectibles, and it does the game a huge service. Whatever the area, be it the greenhouse, bedroom or basement, you can interact with so much stuff that it pays to explore everywhere. The gameplay itself is incredibly responsive and tight. Jumping and dashing through the air feels freeing, and using that to your advantage throughout It Takes Two is just one reason why it feels so satisfying to play. Playing cooperatively is the only way you can play, and with that in mind, Hazelight has constructed plenty of ways for it to work, never reusing the same idea with a different lick of paint. One level sees you utilising two ends of a magnet to push and pull objects, or using them to jump into the air. Then you're given another use for them that sees you develop a new way to approach the environment. In another area, May uses a water gun while Cody uses a hook to help you get past annoying plants in an overgrown garden. However, that water gun also softens the ground where particular plants have been sown, allowing Cody to turn into a dandelion or a flower that adds another layer of playability. Every single level sees you given a new ability, and although some are more enjoyable than others, you're always amazed by just how clever It Takes Two can be. No idea outstays its welcome, and even between those cooperative combinations, the levels are filled with such diversity, you're constantly amazed by what you have to do. There are plenty of boss fights too, and working together to take these down is great. The references to other video games pop up throughout, and while I don't want to spoil them for you, Hazelight pay homage to your favourite Nintendo games such as Mario Kart and Splatoon, as well as Gears of War and Plants vs Zombies. They are playfully included to flesh out your enjoyment, and when you're not blown away by the gameplay, you're given a nice surprise. The mini-games are also worth looking for. There are 25 in total, and the variety on offer never fails to provide a slight detour from the enjoyment of the main adventure. There's a tug of war, a Tron runner, a theme park inspired snake feeding game, and a retro tank battler, to name just a few of them. The story that threads itself throughout the cutscenes and even in the main game centres around Cody and May, two parents on the brink of divorce and the child that suffers as a result. When Rose, their daughter, witnesses them arguing, she cries into two homemade toys, and her tears send Cody and May's consciousness into them. From that moment you become these two toys, and it's up to you to return to normality. Throughout It Takes Two, the story really does take centre stage. You often forget what's happening due to the fun you're having, but every now and again, a cutscene or a line of dialogue reminds you of the sadness that encapsulates the reason you became dolls in the first place. The writing is excellent in It Takes Two. It can be hilarious at times, thanks to the wonderful Dr. Hakim, but it can also be upsetting. Regardless of the emotion you feel, every line of dialogue is beautifully acted by Cody, May and the Doctor. There's a great rapport between the two parents, and the further you progress, the more their failings begin to show, as well as the reasons they fell in love in the first place. The closing moments hit you like a ton of bricks, highlighting just how much of an adventure you've had and how powerful love can be. Some moments hit close to home, especially when Cody and May took things for granted, but it reminds you about how lucky you are in your own lives. It Takes Two is without a doubt one of the best platformers I've played in the last decade. The level design is incredible, and the amount of ideas in terms of its cooperative elements make every second of it a blast to play. It is a fairly long game, and the fact that it never gets dull make it great value for money, especially with the Friends Pass option. As soon as it finished, I wanted to play through it again, and with both May and Cody having different abilities, it provides another reason to dive back in for a second time. There's so much I wanted to talk about, but those moments deserve to be experienced for yourselves. Please, if you play any game this year, play It Takes Two. You won't regret it. And that's why I'm giving it a whopping 10 out of 10.
Goodness. Only one more to go.
Hello, Mick Fraser here. That was Chris White's review of It Takes Two from Hazelight and EA. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. Maybe tag that bell icon too, so that you're kept up to date with all the videos, reviews, previews and what have you that we post on a given day. And if you want to support us via our Patreon, we appreciate everything that you guys do for us, so go and check that out too. In the meantime, I've been Mick Fraser for God is a Geek. That was Chris White's review of It Takes Two, and you guys have been lovely. Bye.